Because sometimes the stereotype of attractive people is true. That you're conceited and you're jerks.
Fucking stopping in the middle of the goddamn parking lot. People are trying to fucking go home.
Just put you on a pedestal.
Get to your fucking car and talk there.
With people they would call ugly, if you will. The reverse of that is true. Whereas, you ever see the way people talk to people they think are too attractive? Like, it's like you can get away with bloody murder. Bloody murder. The more attractive you are. Male or female. My brother has a friend. He's in sales. Pharmaceutical. This is going to get me a message later I don't want to take. This dude can barely count to 10. I'm serious. Like, I think would struggle to tie his shoes. Makes boatloads of money in sales. Because, I got to admit it, he's one of the prettiest people I've ever seen in my life. You could get a little lost and I'm like, jeez, is a man supposed to be that good looking? Cleans up all year. The guy barely knows the language. It's literally insane. It's insane, but he's good looking. So we went into the interview and they knew their industry. You're going to walk into all of them offices. You're going to walk in all those places. And having dealt with salespeople in my career, here's what I can tell you. Pretty, good looking, it helps you exude confidence. When you're asking people for money, they need to be confident in you.
How wrong he is. It's just wrong. The Stansberry Show on Rock 106.9.
For pretty people, I don't buy it. I don't. I think there are some downsides to positive things, right? And we started to talk about a few of them. That you are lusted over when you're not loved. People want to say that they have experienced you. Climb that mountain, if you will. This person actually says, I wish I wouldn't have heard that so early in my life because they say they have noticed it. I have made that statement to a person before. Where I admitted, I was like, look, this is solely about holding, I remember saying, this is just solely about holding you above my head like a trophy and saying, look at what I can do. I told her we were at the Buckboard. Which is a restaurant you've never heard of because it's in the middle of nowhere, Oregon. And I walked right up to her and told her that. You know what she said to me? I respect the honesty. We had sex 2 nights later. It was one of those things where it was like, oh my God, dude, look at you. Because I had been there so long and I hadn't seen that many attractive people. That when she walked into the restaurant, I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I couldn't take it. And I think a lot of women in here are saying that. That's one of the problems with being a really beautiful woman is all the negative, unwanted attention. And I'm sure I have been that person to a lot of beautiful women over the years. Because it's kind of a numbers game. You got to hit on people before you find yourself going out with people, A lot of people brought that up, by the way, on the text line at 330-450-7625. You'll hear beautiful women say that all the time. That, one of the problems with being so beautiful is that nobody asks them out. They're intimidating. Men are intimidating women. I have made this claim forever because I'm a man. I have known plenty of men, and it's the truth. So there's that. That's where a lot of that, fake confidence, which does get us into toxic masculinity, kind of comes from. That whole fake it till you make it thing. And I said fake confidence isn't going to come off as confidence. It's not. It's going to come off as arrogance. That's how that's going, right?
Where are you chiming in from?
Can I be honest about the not enough people hit on me because I'm hot? I kind of feel like that's one of those lies hot women tell you. I don't know I'm right.
How's it going, Fortnite?
I kind of feel like that's one of those, this is why you don't see me with more dudes. They're afraid of me. And in reality, they've told how many nice guys now. And maybe because we all don't live in
how's it going, gambler?
Metropolitan cities, people have heard that you're turning nice guys down, and that you're only looking for this, and you're going to do that.
Heading home. I just worked all day.
Discuss in a bar whether or not one of them should walk over there and go talk to this creature, this beauty they were scared to death to do. Yes, I have seen it plenty of times.
This is
so I think that does happen.
A drive through Amish country.
It may be exaggerated, and I think relationships kind of prove I'm right.
Middle of Ohio.
There's not a man alive that hasn't every day of his life been in a public place and seen another man and a woman walking around together and thought to themselves, really? Him? Every time. You ever feel a guy looking at you when you're walking with your wife? Because your wife's sexy, right? Your girlfriend, she's kind of hot, right? Of course. That's where we also get ourselves into a little bit of trouble with this. It's like, what I think is a 10, you won't, and right, vice versa. So, like, you know, attractive and not. Now, there are people who are just attractive. Okay, look, we're going to play one of these artists at 9 a.m. on Stefani. I recognize why people think she's attractive, does nothing for me. As a matter of fact, I would push Gwen Stefani in front of a bus to get to women I've had. Right there's okay, right there's but like a constant state of like being attractive to me. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy, right? She's beautiful, stunning, even movie star. Does nothing for me. So like that's it. This is where this conversation. But I recognize that she's attractive. I understand, and you do got to be careful interact with attractive people. There's a talk show over in the UK, Graham Norton. Graham's pretty good at what he does. He once upon a time had Jim Carrey and Margot Robbie. And Jim Carrey made the joke to her. Like, I think it's remarkable how you've had all of this success in the face of what are clearly physical limitations you have. Making the joke of, you're so damn beautiful, of course they're pointing cameras at you. What does he mean? That she can't be talented? He's living a toxic masculinity. It's coming out. He doesn't respect her. It's like, no. She might have real acting ability too. But there ain't no denying when you look at her, it's like, sculpted by the gods, baby. Now, again, I understand why people look at Cameron Diaz and think that same thing I thought about Margot Robbie. I would agree, she's attractive. It's not for me. It's not necessarily what I want to go home with at the end of the night. And good thing for me is, and you, that I'm in danger of going home with none of those women. I'm probably in no danger of going home with any women here who look like any of those women.
Just stands show.
Weird, lame, gross, dumb, freak, turd.
On Rock 106.9.
Hey guys, Stansbury here for your local Dunkin'. You and I got this in common. We're out there every day grinding, looking for a satisfying just $6. Dunkin' rolled it out for us. Head there and check out the new $6 meal deal from Dunkin'. It's a medium hot or iced coffee. Okay, well, you know, that's a pretty broad term. I mean, that could not be any less defined. Could we agree, you and I, that a lot of legal issues you do on yourself? Not all, but plenty of them you do. I could understand. So again, it's not the only way you find yourself with a legal issue, not at all. But again, falling out of the sky there, I may push back a little. Becoming an adult's caretaker. That was 7, and death of a family member is 6. They're kind of like right there. Okay, so this is one for sure. And I've said this about my life. My brother took my mother in after my father died. The plan was, my father was going to step away, they were going to retire, and they were going to both move and be closer to my brother, who were trying to have children and then, you know, adopted and like the whole thing. So my parents wanted to be close. My dad didn't make it. He ended up dying before he retired. So my brother was like, move out here, I'll take you in. And I've said it before. I don't think I'm able to withstand the in between the radio jobs, waiting for it, or be able to. I would have maybe had to find a different system. If I was the only child and my mom had to live with me, I'm probably not able to do this. My brother and his wife being really successful together, both of them successful together, has made that possible for me. That is one of those situations where after my dad died, if I would have taken my mother in, my financial situation today would be dramatically different without my brother David and his wife. For sure. So that one I could understand, because I've seen that where it's like, I almost feel like this feels terrible to say. I kind of got to skirt it a little bit And through their success, I get to still kind of do what I want to do for a living. Thanks, David. I know you're going to listen to the podcast later. Thank you for that. Home repairs or replacing an appliance. Okay, well, replacing an appliance is either a want, like, all right, we're kind of ready to update, or it just crapped out on you. Again, what Dave Ramsey's going to tell you, Total Money Makeover is a book I read that helped me with my financial life. What he's going to tell you is that didn't fall out of the sky. Appliance had been going, and he had seen it on the fridge. You could have maybe repaired it, but you didn't want a $30 repair bill or whatever it is, so you just kind of, well, wait it out. Next thing you know, now you got to buy a $2,000 appliance. What he would tell you is you're a homeowner. You know you're going to replace appliances at some point. Be setting the money aside every time you get paid for this purpose. Emergency house funds, these types of things. I don't know if an appliance failing is falling out of again, a meteor didn't hit house. It's not a tornado hit your house. These are things you use every day that you know eventually will go bad. Saving your money, having yourself be on a little bit of a budget can help all of us, myself included, protect ourselves from that being a problem. Car problem. Now again, people will say all the time, nobody rides for free. You either have a car payment or you have car repair bills. It's kind of one of those things. This is a little bit that can be true. If somebody rear ends you or that lead, you have that type of car issue, that's not necessarily your fault. But again, like an appliance in a house, you know what a car is. It's only, right, you're only doing wear and tear. It's not like cars get better by the more you drive, right? Like there's wear and tear on that. Not preparing for that, not thinking down the road for that. Again, I don't know if we can I think us all calling stuff like that falling out of the sky removes some of the responsibility. And that's why, we constantly blame other things for some of our financial issues, and that's why we find ourselves back in them. Notice I keep saying ourselves because I do this kind of stuff too. Your top two, lost job and wages. All right, losing a job is a lot like a divorce, isn't it? And this is what I mean. Once upon a time, a survey told us that something like 65% of people who had been fired knew it was coming. They kind of felt it was coming down the road, or at least the possibility thereof. What I would say to all of us, myself included, if you're not preparing financially for the fact that you could lose your job by this year or next year, I think that might be a little bit foolish. Now, I don't know what your financial situation is. I don't know where you work. I don't know how much money you make. Maybe what I just said is crazy for you personally. I think for a lot of people, that might be a smart business plan. Of like, let's start preparing financially now like we're going to lose our jobs. Right? Like, let's start doing that. One was this guy, you don't know, you're just alive. You're going to do this. I know, man. Decisions lead to a lot of medical problems. I went to the Browns game yesterday, drank beer. That was a decision. When I got home, ordered pizza to the house, ate it, fell right asleep. That's a bad decision that will lead to health problems down the road, which are going to mean expensive bills for me down the road. Now, sometimes, yes, you can live great, go to the gym 4 days a week, and next thing you know, something just falls out of the sky. That is true. That is true. But plenty of decisions are leading to waistlines for all of us across the country, which is raising how much money is owed in medical bills. That's a decision. Again, it didn't just fall out of the sky. Do have tickets for the haunted house and haunted schoolhouse and laboratory, sorry. I do have tickets for you. I'll have them all week. Let's get caller 12 in right now. That at 330-450-7625. Toll free at 800-243-7625 on those. And a time traveler says, yeah, the world's pretty much over. We'll take a look at that here next.
The Stansberry Show.
Hey, we're listening to him. He must be doing something right.
On Rock 106.9.
We would have him drug tested, but why waste the money?
The Stansberry Show. On Rock 106.9.
Gave you Metallica there. They'll be headlining not one but two nights at Sonic Temple, May, Historic Cruise Stadium, Columbus. If memory serves, May 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Announced last week, Metallica will headline both Friday and Sunday. I believe Friday you get Rob Zombie in support of that. And then Sunday, it's Alice in Chains. Won't matter to you. On Thursday, you're getting tickets for the entire event. So you'll see both shows there and everything else Sonic Temple has for you as we are doing Sonic Temple Thursdays. And I'll get you tickets on Thursdays for the foreseeable future here on Rock 106.9. All right. We've talked about this person before, Radiant Time Traveler. He's got a pretty big following on TikTok. And I think it's like 900,000 followers. Over 7 million likes on video. Now, if you act crazy online, people are going to respond to it, right? It's kind of how it works. And back in 2023, he had warned that 2024 was going to be a bad year. He said one of the worst years ever for natural disasters. Now, he had said that, not predicted, he's a time traveler, he would know, that there would be a 17-mile wide tornado in the Houston, Texas area, and a 750-foot tall mega tsunami that would smash into the California coastline. That after a 9.8 magnitude earthquake. Seems pretty large. Then in February, earlier in the year, he warned that I'm sticking to my guns here. No, I'm telling you, I traveled around, I've seen stuff. He claimed that the first ever F6 tornado would hit the Houston area and said, no, that tsunami's still coming. It's still coming. He also then added, aliens would, in fact, land on Earth, and dragons, of all things, are now going to be discovered in the Rocky Mountains. We have yet to see any of this stuff happen, and we're butting up against October here. Right? So, Radiant Time Traveler there, running out of time. Right? Like, running out of time. It's one of the reasons why when people say, oh, the X amount of followers or X amount of likes on social, it's like, does it matter? Like, sometimes they're like, dude, some of those shares and some of those likes, are you being mocked? It doesn't, like, that doesn't necessarily, it's like, I'm not sure why everybody still puts so much stock in it. Apparently, he's staying confident on what he's saying is going to happen. He said, many of you, quote, many of you still don't believe I am a real time traveler, so remember these 5 events to come in the final months of this year, 2024. So we don't got to wait real long here. October 8th, right around the corner. He says 8 people, 8, will receive superpowers that will come from an extreme blast of energy from the sun. All right. So there's more of these. This one's my favorite, if I'm honest, because of this reason right here. There will be an extreme blast of energy from the sun. That's going to happen. And 8 people get superpowers because of it. 8. Like, first, what happens to the rest of us? Like, I would have that question, like, what extreme, energy just, releasing from the sun? I kind of feel like for the people where something good doesn't happen, I don't feel like it's just like, nothing happened to you. Like, can I hear a little bit more about that beyond that? Something happens with an extreme blast of energy from the sun. People get superpowers because of it. And it's 8 of them? Like, I don't know about that one. That one feels a little flimsy, if we will. That one feels a little flimsy. I have October 9th already circled on my calendar. You can bet your ass we're bringing this back up October 9th. You can bet your ass. Put a pin in that. November 17th. That's not that far off either, right? Radiant Time Traveler telling us that he has traveled and has seen that for sure a meteor shower will be the new type. This will be the event that brings new types of animals appearing all over the world. He says one of them is smarter than a human being. You know what I'm curious about? Is it possible there are animals who are smarter than human beings and we don't know that because we view, if you can't communicate with us, that you're not smart? Isn't that one of those things that's possible? Or did I get too drunk yesterday at the Browns game in the heat? Did that happen? That might have happened. Well, that did happen. I don't know if that's what led to me saying that, but that did happen for sure. November 21st, Radiant Time Traveler says you will see a 9.9 magnitude earthquake, that known as Big Dub, that will hit the San Andreas fault line and destroy several large cities. It had been called, or he had referred to it as Big John in one of the previous videos. He's renaming it now Big Dub. Apparently, Big John was only going to be a 9.8, and so now he says, nah, it's actually going to be a little worse than that. Let's rename it. We're calling it Dub. Because of that earthquake, Radiant Time Traveler claims a 1,200-foot tall tsunami will be formed. It will hit San Francisco and leave that city uninhabitable until the year 2029. It's like, well, I don't think a tsunami did it, but have you seen it recently? You don't want to live there now.
The Stansberry Show.
You have to recognize that one of his greatest strengths is his voice, which makes him sound sexy and smart and sexy and sexy.
On Rock 106.9.
Looking ahead at tomorrow's program. Looks like I got new Green Day for you for New Tour Tuesday, that at 9 a.m. Get that out there. Bobby Socks, the name of that? I don't know why, but I haven't heard it yet either. Tomorrow, we'll find out if that's any good. Recently, we've been talking about Radiant Time Traveler. This person has a, pretty big following on TikTok, over 900,000 followers, 7 million likes on some videos. I guess we can't call these predictions. He's a time traveler. He knows they happen. Although plenty of stuff he said was going to happen in 2024 hasn't. But we still have, a few more months left in the year. And we let you know that on October 8th, he says 8 people will receive superpowers from an extreme blast of energy from the sun. Now, okay, I would like to hear about what happens to the rest of us when an extreme blast of energy just skyrockets out of the sun. Can I hear about us, please? Are you kidding me? If you only 8 people in Ohio got, superpowers. Be like, are we sure? There's got to be more. If it's going to do that to people, 8 of them. That is an outlandish claim, right? Welcome to the internet. That's where you go to make outlandish claims. Or Rock 106.9 Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. I guess there is that as well. He said November 17th, a meteor shower that will bring new types of animals appearing all over the world, one of which is smarter than a human being. Well, these days I like the odds of that. An animal being smarter than most humans, I kind of like the odds of it. Apparently, November 21st, we're getting a little closer to Thanksgiving there, right? 9.9 magnitude earthquake known as Big Dub. That will hit San Andreas fault line, destroy several large cities. And that will then bring upon a 1,200-foot tall tsunami. Formed, and it will hit San Francisco, leaving that city uninhabitable until the year 2029. Okay, I'm a pessimist for sure. We get a 1,200-foot tall tsunami, it wipes San Francisco out. 5 years you can live there again? I guess 5 years is a long time, and maybe I've seen too many disaster movies, I guess. I mean, what I don't know about tsunami relief, could literally fill the Grand Canyon. That's fair, okay. Yes, I don't know anything about any of that. That seems unlikely to me. Then apparently, right before Christmas, December 21st, an ancient artifact called Pandora's Box, this is going to be found in the desert, Egypt. This will release many mythical creatures and storms. They be you don't want to open it, he says. Now, he did say in the past that we would find Pandora's box. I think he said it was going to happen in March. And then, when we found it then, it would send people to other universes. One of which contains Dorito-shaped people, is one of the claims he... Well, I mean, human beings are almost bell-shaped now, right? Small head, wide at the waist, kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of, that's kind of a thing, but I don't... You know what's interesting about this? This guy obviously is not a time traveler, right? We don't have that. You know how we know we don't have time travel? Because you haven't wasted every single dollar paying a corporation for the last 10 trips you took to go travel someplace. If we had it, they would be taking your money and letting you use it. Do you have any idea how valuable that is? Now, I guess what I just said suggests that when you go back and you flap a butterfly wing and, you know, the Back to the Future that, you know, the photos don't erase and your sister doesn't die or whatever, I guess, okay, fair. But, like, I feel like it's kind of hard to keep that one kind of quiet. I don't buy that. What I find interesting about all of this, you know who this guy is. This is the guy who's laying on the street corner, who's done too many drugs, who's holding the cardboard sign, screaming erratic things that you drive past or walk past. You think to yourself, oh, that's sad. And then you walk into your building and you don't think about it anymore. We move these people off the street corners and put them on TikTok. That's all that's happening here. This is literally just a crazy person saying things out loud wearing a little nicer clothing. So you're like, well, wait a minute, maybe he does know. No, he doesn't know. He does not know. You all know, right? I want to say that, but the 900,000 followers. But again, are all of those people following him because they think he's on the up and up? No. They're all following him because they want a good laugh. They're pointing their finger and laughing at him, not with him. An energy blast from the sun. 8 people get special powers. I mean, the lies aren't even believable. Those are rookie numbers, right? We got to get those pumped up. We got to go Wolf of Wall Street. We got to get those numbers pumped up. Now, I would like to think that if an energy blast comes from the sun and 8 of us are chosen, set aside for the superpowers, I'm on the list, right? Who else from Canton would you nominate? It's me, for sure it is. Absolutely, right? If I'm going to get superpowers, let me see here. I don't want to hear what everybody thinks. I'm already able to read a lot of that. No, thanks. I'm good. I don't want that one. I don't necessarily want to time travel. I mean, I would, I guess. Hey, get in this ship. We can take you back to the 80s. I'd want to see it, maybe. I'd be into it. I don't want to fly. I guess mine is a little flying adjacent. I wouldn't want to be invisible, but if I could pick my superpower, it would be teleporting. Traveling, the length of travel and the types of things you got to do, which, I mean, trust the CEO to put you in the, 38,000 feet in the air. It's like, I don't know about that, right? So, like, the problems with traveling, the restriction there of me being able to see other things in the world, it's one of my least favorite things is when I'm just sitting around by myself, middle of the afternoon, and I think of some beautiful location like south of France, something, pick one. And I'm just like, dude, that sucks. It's there. It's beautiful. And I'm never going to see it. It pisses me off. Can't handle it. I end up I have to force other stuff into my brain. I have to stop thinking about that. If I could choose anything, it would be teleportation because I could see everything then and it wouldn't take anywhere near as long as it does now, so I would be able to see everything.
You thought Stansbury was a mess on air?